So there have been some remarkable travel shows created in the past, and they're usually from the perspective of a historian or a celebrity or a chef, but there's never been a show created from the standpoint of a business traveler. A lot of travelers are traveling the globe every day for business. They know cities across the globe. They know trains and planes and automobiles and hotels and restaurants and how to navigate a city. So when I'm asking for advice on a new area of the world, I'm usually asking a fellow business traveler. I think people hear business professional and they picture something boring like, ho-hum, yawn. I'm out to break that perception with every ounce of breath in my body. I am a searcher. I'm an adventurer. I love the wanderlust. There is no keeping the bear from the honey. If I got downtime in a city, I lace up my sneaks and I grab a map. I think if I was reincarnated, I'd want to come back as a travel show host or a beekeeper. I want a beard of bees. As a matter of fact, I want to do that on this show. I don't like the word foodie. It's a weird word. I'm Italian and I love food, and I spent a lot of time as a younger man working in fine dining, so I love food, and there is nothing better in the planet than a well-run restaurant. It's art. So my buddy in Vegas recently said, "Hey, you're metrosexual. What do you think of this?" And I said, "Hey, dude, wait. I'm not metrosexual, I'm Italian." It doesn't mean you're not masculine. I mean, like, Al Capone was like a thug and a gangster and a tough guy, but he always put on a nice suit and he put like a flower in his lapel. You know, I don't know if I always technically know when something qualifies as art, but I know something that I like when I see it if it's aesthetically pleasing. As a matter of fact, in my house, there's always pieces of my dad's art hanging in many of the rooms. So I have always been taught to seek out amazing art wherever it will be. So if I have downtime in a city, I usually find a museum to check out the local artists. I've always believed that leaders are readers, and the world is filled with amazing thinkers. So when I would travel to Russia, I would try to read something by like Alexander Solzhenitsyn. And if I traveled to Germany, I would usually read Goethe. And if it was China, Sun Tzu. For me, when I left university, it wasn't the end of my learning. The whole world became my classroom. Life is amazing. And I think people will discover that travel has never been easier or more available to the average person.
Your mom, she was Italian.
Yes. Mia mamma era italiana di Treviso, the home of Prosecco, the home of tiramisu, radicchio, grappa. So to this day, I think Treviso is one of the greatest kept secrets of the travel world, and I plan to explore that in painful detail. Quindi, amo l'Italia, il cultura, la macchina italiani, non parlo bene, parlo poco. Italian cuisine has been documented kind of in a forced choice in a closed loop. People talk about the same things over and over again. I hear people talk about Italian bread, for example. There are so many amazing Italian breads. I'll give you an example. Schiacciata, okay, which is a rural Tuscan bread. It's like if a loaf of focaccia got drunk and slept with a piece of pizza. This would be their very delicious love child. And I love it. And nobody's talked about that. I was raised with an Italian mom. And if I ever made the mistake of saying, "I'm bored," she would say one of two things. Either swing the door till it smells like garlic, which didn't make a stitch of sense in translation, or go outside and find some adventure to get into. So a lot of times I would just go lay on my back, look at the clouds with my siblings and say, "That looks like something or other." In other words, my mom instilled in me an amazing wanderlust. We had 3 TV channels growing up, but one was in French, so it doesn't really count because I don't speak French. There is a staggering amount of television channels. You don't just have like a sports channel. You have like ESPN 1, 2, 3. You have like Golf Channel, MLB Network, unlimited amount of television options. Like we have a weather channel. We have an entire channel devoted to nothing but weather. My takeaway from all this? I think there's plenty of room for our content that we're creating. What I lack in sophistication, I think I make up for in just energy and passion. I just love people. I love talking to them. I love breaking bread with them. I love making memories with them. I have wonderful friends all over the world that are far more sophisticated and clever than I am. And here's the thing. I was never the most popular guy in school, but I knew that guy. And I was never like the best guy on any sports team, but I was never the worst. I was kind of like the best of the worst. I was like the cream of the crap. And so I think that that's relatable. Would I consider myself a food critic or an art critic? I don't want to be considered an anything critic. Society never erects a statue to a critic. I just like to find interesting things that are either historic. I don't always know what I'm looking for, but I know it when I see it. Jet lag? One word, Ambien. Before Ambien, I just paced around hotel rooms and talked to myself. I need to take Ambien and go straight to bed or else all kinds of weird stuff happens. I'm not proud of this, but I once ate a whole pie, apple, and another time I took an Ambien and downloaded the entire Oak Ridge Boys anthology from iTunes, back when it was like 99 cents a song, so it started to add up. All of the songs by Nana Muscuri.
And who is Nana Muscuri?
Exactly. On Ambien, it was a good idea to get all her music, so come over to my house, I'll play it for you. Wine. I like it a lot. Am I a wine snob? No, most certainly not a wine snob. I'm a big fan of wine, and I know a fair amount about it. But here, I truly believe that you can have a life-changing bottle of wine for under $20 if you ask the right questions. So the fact that I believe that means that I know I probably don't qualify as a wine snob. So I once heard this, I guess we would call it a wine snob, proudly bragging that he was arguing with his sommelier over a recommendation about wine. That doesn't make you clever. That just makes you a dick. And by the way, I know the word sommelier because I worked in a restaurant that had a sommelier. For those of you who don't know, it's just a wine expert. If you're arguing with the wine expert, you got way too much free time on your hands. I've never been good enough to pursue guitar in any sort of professional capacity, obviously, but I really love it. And I have spent a good deal of my life traveling on the road. I usually sling a guitar on my back. So when I go on a business trip, many times I'll have a guitar. And so when I have downtime in a hotel room, when I'm not exploring town, I pick up the guitar and it's cathartic. You can pick up a guitar and stop fretting about the problems of your business, your life, because when you're trying to play a song on guitar, it's kind of all encompassing. I was never good enough to actually do this for a profession, but I do love guitar. And I had a girlfriend once in college, and she said the difference between a mutual fund and a guitarist is that a mutual fund eventually matures and makes money. So that was probably my indicator that I should not pursue guitar for a profession.